Sri Krishna, being the Supreme Lord Himself, is the best person to explain the truths of all existence. For the one who has created the entire cosmos alone knows every detail, every aspect of it, in and out. So, by virtue of that, He is the supreme authority on all knowledge, be it worldly, be it metaphysical, be it spiritual. Every aspect of this universe, every aspect of this cosmos is pervaded by His consciousness, and therefore He knows everyone inside out. Tat Tvamasi or Om Tat Sat, as in the last chapter we saw. If you are that Brahman consciousness, then you permeate and pervade everything, including the sparrows here. They say when the Shuka Muni would speak, the animals, the birds, the snakes, the bees, they will all come and gather around him to listen to the Bhagavad-Gītā. And they are not ordinary beings, they are all rishis and tapasvis and sadhakas who would transform themselves into such animals to listen to the nectar of a divine discourse. So these birds have been around, 4 of them, for quite some time here. I think they are here to attain moksha. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat, Sri Krishna says. Forget if you don't understand whole of Gita, even a little bit of it you understand and you practice, it will take you across, it will annihilate the biggest of the fears. And the biggest fear is that we will die one day. And that fear arises from the confusion and illusion that we are the body. So that also is taken care of. So that is the beauty of Bhagavad Gita. You see, it's for all. It's not a religious text. It's a spiritual text. In fact, it's a manual for all life. And when should one read a manual of anything? For example, you buy a new equipment or an instrument or a phone or a car. When should you read the manual? After you have damaged it? Generally we do that. After it stops working, we have done something wrong. Then we open the manuals and what went wrong? But that paschatapa is of no use. You have already destroyed that thing. So if Gita is the manual for human life, how one should lead one's life, what is to be avoided, what is to be accepted, what works should be done, what should not be done, how it should be done in order to attain the highest. How human life has been given to attain the highest. So how to do that? Bhagavad Gita describes it all. And who has written this manual? The one who has created the gadget. He has written the manual. Who else can write? Who else has the authority to write about it or speak about it? So Sri Krishna, being the Supreme Lord, the very embodiment of that Supreme Consciousness, that Akshara Brahma, speaks about every aspect of human life, speaks about the nature of our mind, the Prakriti, and also speaks about the Akshara Paramatma and how Paramatma and Prakriti are always together, and how that same Paramatma appears as Jivatma, seemingly enjoying or suffering along with the vagaries of the human life and the vicissitudes of the human mind. But he is not. That is the ultimate idea. And when we get established in the thought that we are neither Prakriti nor the Purusha, but we are the Purushottama, we are the ultimate supreme reality, all our sorrows, all our confusion, doubts are dispelled, our moha is destroyed. So far Arjuna's story began with moha only. In the very beginning, when Arjuna came to the battlefield, he was all prepared. He wanted to teach a good lesson to his evil cousins, Kauravas. But on the sight of his own uncle and grandfather and the teachers and things like that, he got jittery. And he got overcome by this delusion, this moha. And he decided, I don't want to, Nayotsyamiti Govinda. I don't want to fight. That's what he said and sat down. And then Krishna scolded him. First he had to, wake him out of his reverie, pull him out of that depression. Klaibyam magama smartha. Don't be a non-masculine person. You're born a male, you're born a kshatriya, be a kshatriya. Where is this cowardice coming to you from? And gave him a big blow, and Arjuna, startled, came out of his reverie, and then he listened to Krishna. He said, I don't know what is right, what is wrong. I've been confused. But I pray to you, Shishyas, te aham. I want to become your Shishya now. Shadi mam te prapannam. Please instruct me, I'm confused. And then the manual begins. How do I use this opportunity, this human life? I do not know. I make mistakes. I may waste it. Oh Lord, teach me. And the Lord teaches Bhagavad-Gītā. From there, the last 17 chapters, starting with Arjuna Vishada Yoga, which is the confusion and the sorrow and despondency of Arjuna, born out of delusion, out of ignorance, to the Sankhya Yoga, where Krishna analytically describes to Arjuna what is to be done, what is not to be done, why it should be done, and who you are truly. You are not this body and mind, you are beyond. Your body is a vesture that you put on every time you come, but your Atma is indestructible, immutable, eternal. So all these truths Krishna tells and also teaches him how to discriminate between this impermanence and that permanent thing. Buddhi Yoga, he says. And then he goes on to explain to him that there are people in this world who live like this. Tritaprajna they are called. And Arjuna's curiosity is aroused. Oh really? I thought this is the first time you are telling these things to me, so maybe I am to be the first person like that. There are people like this, that's very encouraging. Please tell me about them. Tritaprajnasya ka bhasha. And Krishna describes what it is to be a man of equanimity. And he explains that this man is happy within himself. And he is not affected by the dualities of life. So you also become like that. Sukha dukkha samay krutva, labha, alabha, jaya, ajayo, tato yuddhaya yujjasva, naivam papamasi. Don't worry about the sin that you will commit, that your Varna Shankara will happen, your Pitaras will fall, and all the women will be ruined. Don't worry about all the sins that may come from this war. You think it's a sin. But if you become equanimous like a Sitaprajna, none of these issues will ever haunt you. And he explains to him, encourages him. Then he goes to Karma Yoga, 3rd chapter, explains to him how he should perform this action. Because in this world, nobody can stay without performing action. That is what Krishna says. Not for a moment. Everybody is acting, performing some action. So how do you perform action so that actions don't bind you, but they liberate you? They help you to overcome all kinds of illusions and attachments and the dualities, and help you purify yourself to establish in the constancy of your equanimity. So he teaches Karma Yoga, many beautiful shlokas are there. After that he goes to Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. He says just renouncing the fruits of the action, saying only my right is on the action and not the fruit, is still a lower understanding. The better understanding is to find out who is the real doer in the first place. What gives you the authority to even say, I perform the action and I renounce the fruits? Who is the real doer in the first place? And then he explains, Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga is an explanation that all gunas are the reason why you do whatever you do. You are not even the doer. Your gunas propel you to do certain things. So do everything and as Brahmarpanam. Everything, think of it as the Brahman itself is doing through your, the instrument is Brahman, the actor, the doer is Brahman, the enjoyer is Brahman, the act of performing actions is Brahman. So everything is Brahman. That is the idea he conveys. Then he goes to Karma Sannyasa Yoga. He says the right way is that you become a sannyasi of karma. You don't try to be a tyāgi of karma. Don't try to renounce fruits of action, but become a sannyasi of karma. Who is a sannyasi of a karma? The one who has no desire for any results out of it. You may desire a result and then renounce it. That's even a lower thinking. And if you can't understand who you are and who is really the performer of the action, don't worry. Minimum you can do is you establish yourself in this thought that you are the divine. Yoga yukto jahati. Ubhe dushkrite. All things you give up. Become yoga yukta. And once you become a yoga yukta and completely establish in that yoga, where your mind is one with the Supreme, there is no doership. So there is no enjoyership. There is no question of you doing. So where is the question of you renouncing anything? Karma sannyasa you do. And then our Arjuna says, it's very difficult for me to establish myself completely. My mind is very fickle. Chanchalami mana. Krishna. It's very difficult. I can as well control wind, but I can't control my mind. Krishna says, you're right. Most of the people have this problem. They can't establish, even once they get there and establish themselves in that ultimate truth, soon after they fall. They're unable to hold on, stay on in that state. So, but he tells Abhyasa, do practice, practice, practice. Practice makes man perfect. And then he teaches him Dhyana Yoga, how to make his mind steady so that he's able to establish himself in the thought of that I am Brahman and Supreme is doing everything and never is confused and deluded. Never for a moment thinks he's the doer or the enjoyer. That way he'll be free from the results of the action. From Dhyana Yoga, Sri Krishna says, whom are you to meditate upon? Dhyana is right. Dhyana is to meditate. Steady your mind and place it on something for long, dhyana. But whom should you do it? Then he explains who is really the entity, who is that being on which you should do meditation, who should be meditated upon. So comes the Jnana Vijnana Yoga, where Krishna talks about he himself being the apara and the para. He had the 8 various modifications in which he appears as apara, that is the prakriti. And beyond that, there is this para nature, the beyond supreme, which is untouched, unaffected by everything. So he says that only very rare people, bahunam janmanamante, after several births of efforts, somebody reaches this state. So don't expect yourself to reach it by the end of this discourse. It won't happen. It will take time. But abhyasa you have to do, not give up. But there are people after many births who have realized Vasudevam Sarvamiti. They realize the divine only is everything. There is nothing other than divinity in this universe. You will also realize that he encourages. Then he continues to further elaborate through Akshar Brahma Yoga, the 8th chapter, where he talks about several beautiful Advaitic concepts of Brahma, Adhyatma, Karma, Adhidaiva, Adhiyagnya, and Prayana Kala. Means at the end, where do we go if we lead a life like this? All the explanations Krishna says, but he says also that you do not know when you are going to die, because last moment, whatever you think, that is what you will attain. So that's why tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmarayudhyacha. Therefore, always remember me, think of me. Because you do not know when you are going to die. We are not lucky enough to know when are we going to die. So therefore, all the time remember me so that you attain me without fail. And then he goes and tells him another super secret, Rajaguhya, Raja Yoga. Super secret. But the secret seems like such an open secret. Because he says, I am in all are in me, yet I am not in all and nothing is in me. You know, Arjuna's plight, you can imagine. Rope is the snake is the rope, yet rope is not the snake and snake is not the rope. That is the idea. Krishna explains that Advaitic thought and explains to him how you also can do that. It's Yoga Maya, everything is my Yoga Maya, that is my glory. That how I hide in plain sight and you can't catch me. Yet I am everywhere. He explains, creates curiosity in Arjuna to know what that truth is, how it is so fascinating. What is this Maya? And then goes on to talk about various aspects of his presence. Arjuna asks, you say you are everything, everything is in you, yet you are not in anything, nothing is in you. What is all this? Please explain to me. How do you exist in all, yet you do not exist in anything? And then Vibhuti Yoga comes. Beautiful descriptions of Krishna's glory. Krishna's glory means Supreme Lord's glory. Not always, shouldn't equate Krishna with that body of Krishna. It is the supreme divinity. And he says, then Arjuna is curious, Keshu Keshu cha bhaveshu, teach me in which all ways I think of you, because you seem to be everywhere. I am always not having the time to sit down and meditate on your supreme consciousness. When I'm talking, walking, working in the kitchen or the office, how do you still meditate on you? And that is, he explains to him beautiful explanations. Several vibhutis are there. I gave an assignment also to find out. In that one is Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam, he says. Of all the education knowledge, I am the spiritual knowledge. So that is what we are interested in. We are putting efforts to learn. And from there, Arjuna is still not satisfied. He's hungry for more. I want to see that ultimate form of yours. How do I visualize? How do I behold that form? Krishna says, here I give you a divine eyes to see my true form. And he shows the Vishwarupa Darshanam. And we have had a very nice session on Vishwarupa Darshanam. But the ultimate idea of Vishwarupa Darshanam is not imagining itself to a huge being stretching from earth to sky with several mouths and hands. And it is about Arjuna seeing Krishna in everything, in the good, bad, ugly, in the cruelty as well as in the goodness. Everything is Krishna. The death is Krishna, the birth is Krishna, the sustenance is Krishna. So he is overwhelmed by this vision, and first time he realizes whom he is dealing with. And he falls at Krishna's feet and says, forgive me, I have treated you with disrespect at times, not knowing your true glory. And he falls and says, like a father, please forgive me, like a friend, like a beloved, please forgive me. And he is very thrilled by this whole thing, but he says, please come back to your normal form. I cannot behold this anymore, it's scary. And then Krishna comes back, or whatever, Arjuna's Divya Chakshu, the divine vision disappears, and the regular vision comes, and he sees Krishna as it is, as he is. And then Krishna says, this what you have seen is impossible for even yogis and tapasvis and great ascetics to see. This is something that is very difficult for even devatas to see. But I have given you this special boon. And he says, the only way you can do this is develop bhakti, develop love for me, develop love for the divine, supreme, divine. And try to, when you develop love, you want to be with that divinity, you want to experience that divinity. So you try to experience me as I am. And Arjuna asks, how do I love you? As the Nirakara or the Sakara? The Bhakti Yoga comes. And Krishna beautifully explains that both ways you can reach me, but because you are in body and you have body consciousness, it's difficult for you to directly jump and think of me as the formless one. So start small, start with offering everything to me. And so he says, Sarva Kalma Phalatyagam is the easiest way. You can do abhyasa, you can do dhyana, you can do upasana. All these are difficult ones, karma. But karma phala tyaga is the easiest one because it is shreyo hi jnanam abhyasa jnana dhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phala tyaga tyagat shanti anantaram. The moment you sacrifice, you become pure, you become immediately perfected because there is no agitation, no expectation in you. Do that, it's the simplest way to do it. He brings down the toughest of the syllabus to the simplest of the ways to achieve it. Shortcut. Give up the fruits of action. That is the good. Not that it won't lead to the other things. After that, you will start, your heart will become pure. Dhyana will happen. Then you will get established in the truth. Then you will reach the Nirakara, Parabrahman. But he says, start here at Karma Phala Tyaga and explains what are the qualities of a good devotee. And he says, those who follow these qualities, they become very dear to me. And once you become dear to God, you become near to God. In fact, you become God. That is the idea. And then from there, Krishna goes into the Advaitic side of things. As I say, the three parts of Bhagavad-gītā, work, worship and wisdom. Work part is the first 6, that is Karma Yoga. Worship part, Upasana, is the second 6 chapters. And the last 6 chapters, more or less, in fact, the 13, 14, 15th are very detailed in terms of their explanation about the truth, Prakriti and Purusha. So he comes to Kshetra, Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga, 13th chapter, and he explains that I am the Purusha in all Prakriti. I am the Supreme One, but I also am available, I am present in all. Kshetragyam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. In all beings, good, bad, and sentient, everything, I only exist as Jivatma. The Jivatma concept is introduced, and many other things also he asks, what is Prakriti and Purusha, Kshetra and Kshetrajna, and things like that. So we have Akshara and Kshara, all these things we have learned during that chapter. And then from there he goes, why are we not able to experience that presence everywhere? Because we have gunas that come in our way. These gunas are something, the modes of nature that we are born with because of many births of associations, attachments, actions and habits. So he explained there is 3 kinds of guna, sattva, rajas and tama guna. And those who follow sattva guna, they rise in spiritual evolution. Urdhvam gacchanti sattastha. All the sattvic people grow, evolve. Whereas madhya tishtanti rajasa. All the rajasic people driven by passions and pursuits of their desires and selfishness, they stay where they are, more or less swinging like a pendulum. And then there are those jaganya gunavrittistha, all those with terrible qualities. They are tamasic people, lazy, not interested in spirituality, not interested in putting efforts on spiritual path, very cruel, very lethargic. Those such people, they go down, he says, adho gacchanti. So they all go down. So this is why you should choose your company, because your company influences your gunas. In the presence of good people, noble people, our sattvic qualities start manifesting, start growing. In the company of tamasic people, our tamasic qualities get encouraged. So I had told that time, satsanga is the most important to change your qualities. You may be born in a certain way. You can't change that, how you are born. But what you can do in this life, much depends on your efforts. And good company is very important. You may not have a taste for it, but develop a taste for it by constant efforts. That is important. And then he goes to Purushottama Yoga, one of the most beautiful chapters. And he describes how he is not just the Purusha, but he is Purushottama. The same sun who reflects in the water and appears to be captured in that little pot of water is only a reflection. This also is sun, that also is sun. But that is the ultimate supreme one sun who reflects in all puddles and pools. One electricity which travels through all the bulbs. So this is the idea of Purushottama Yoga. And we have to realize that Purushottama part of it, from Purusha we should become Purushottama. Then he explains Daivasura Sampada Vibhaga Yoga. For some people it's naturally they're inclined towards realizing self. Some people do not. And they have certain qualities. So why this is? Because this is like a small self-assessment. Daivasura Sampada Vibhaga Yoga is like, take all the qualities of Daiva, put it on one side, Asura, put it on the other side, and start ticking which all you have manifest in your life at different points in time. When you come here, you have manifest mostly Daivic qualities, but in a place where nobody is watching you, nobody is observing you, and you are overtaken by or overwhelmed by other emotions, think of yours. And then I think you should make a chart for yourself and keep putting and assessing how you are improving in these aspects. So that is why Krishna gave the Daivasura Sampada Vibhaga Yoga, and we know Asura Sampada he described in great detail, because that's what most of the people are unable to overcome. So he gives such beautiful explanation, and then comes to Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga. He says that ultimately your Shraddha is the most important quality you must have as a spiritual seeker. If you are born tamasic, if you have a lot of the asuri qualities, yet you develop Shraddha by virtue of association with a good person, or by reading a scripture, or by coming in touch with a guru, that Shraddha can take you forward. But again, Shraddha also can be of three kinds, tamasic, rajasic, sattvic. And then he says, accordingly we do yajna, tapa and dana kriyas in our lives. These are three important things we do. Yajna we do, all actions that we perform is yajna basically. Then we again do yajnas of three types, sattvic, tamasic and rajasic. And then tapa is austerity that we must perform for the sake of our own personal evolution. First is a duty towards all beings. We have various kinds of yajnas towards all beings. It's for the welfare of the society and also personal welfare. But tapa is about spiritually evolving, developing that focus of mind and growing spiritually. That is tapa. But people again do it in different ways. Some people torture themselves in the name of tapas and torture everybody around, and they grow, no, they're not at all, they're growing in spiritual part. They think they're doing a lot of austerities and doing a lot of tapas. That's tamasic tapas, he says. So that is also not true. And then he says all the dana also people do in different ways. But these three are most important actions that we must perform: yajna, dana, tapakriya. And these three should be done with pure way. It should be done in a pure way, in sattvic way. This will purify us, and that purity will lead us to divinity. That is the essence of Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga. Now, more or less, we have taken a quick glance at the whole of Bhagavad-gītā, and we are coming to the final chapter, which we will finish in today and tomorrow mostly. A good teacher or a good speaker first tells what he is going to tell, then tells, and then again tells what he has told. This is the rule. First, tell what you are going to tell, and then tell what you have told. So first Krishna in second chapter tells what he is going to tell. Entire Sankhya Yoga covers the entire essence of Bhagavad-gītā. All aspects he touches upon in a small way. Tell what you are going to tell. He sets the context. Then throughout Bhagavad-gītā he tells. Between the 3rd to 17th chapter, he is telling whatever he has to tell. And 18th chapter is he is going to tell what he has told, summarizing it. A good teacher must run his class also like this. Start the class by telling what are we going to learn today, what are the objectives, what we should attain by end of this class. Then throughout the class he should tell exactly what he has decided to tell and not confuse them by bringing new topics from somewhere. But this teacher is very sharp. He sticks to the subject. And at the end he summarizes it for the student so that it completely settles in the mind. The student is able to assimilate. I tell good teachers are like cows. They eat grass but they give milk. In our country, cows are even greater. They eat plastic, paper, everything and still give milk only. So Indian gurus are far superior that way. Despite all the ridicule and insults, they still are compassionate to accept everything and yet give pure milk. That is the essence of the scriptures to the devotees. That is the beauty of a teacher. So one should be like that, and Krishna is the best teacher. All our teachers can take inspiration from Bhagavan Krishna for the kind of teacher that he has been. And what a classroom, battlefield, practical, theory plus practical, no two separate sessions. Then and there. And all this has happened, imagine both of them standing in the battlefield. We took a whole year, but they just managed in battlefield. So you can imagine how Krishna must have frozen time, or kind of squeezed the time. Like in dream state, we go somewhere and we come back. A whole night's journey to Chennai, and then we come back after meeting somebody next morning. But when you wake up, you have not moved an inch from your bed, but you have seen so much. Many times you get dreams. People tell me, Swami, you came in my dream, you gave me instructions. It was a long set of instructions, but I don't remember anything now. I said, what use is that dream then? But seemed like you were with me for the whole day. We were walking, talking and smiling and playing, but I woke up, you were not there. So that is what I tell you. The time is an illusion. Time is an illusion. In fact, every time our atomic clock has to, reset, has to be reset to match the Earth's actual time zone, timelines, because it is not perfect. So every time we have to match it. So actually time is an illusion. Then what is this leap year and all that stuff? And what is the Shunya Masam? This is all adjustments in timings, right? So time is an illusion. So this time which Krishna and Arjuna are spending on the battlefield must have been in another state. where it might have happened a few minutes, because you can't keep both the armies waiting while you take a whole year to learn Bhagavad Gita. And battle has to start. Conches have been blown, trumpets have been blown, drums have been sounded. We are here to fight. Swords have been drawn. And then this Gita starts. So something has happened there. Krishna has taken Arjuna into a different mental state and explained the whole Bhagavad Gita. And by the time they finish Bhagavad Gita, hardly any time would have passed for those who are in the earthly time plane. So this is how Bhagavad Gita was taught to Arjuna. Now we are coming to the 18th chapter, and Gyaneshwar Maharaj says, Ashtadhyaya, the last adhyaya of the Bhagavad Gita, is as good as whole Bhagavad Gita. So he calls it Ekadhyayi Gita. Like the Kalasham of the temple, this is so important, the most important part. Ekadhyayi Gita means you can read the whole Bhagavad Gita or you read the last chapter, more or less it is Bhagavad Gita, he says. In fact, a story is there, somebody asked, I don't have time to read the whole of Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapters, and I'm very busy, man, what can I do? He said, at least can you read one shloka? He said, what is the shloka? Sarva dharman parityajya maam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami mashucha. You have already studied this, it comes in this chapter. He says, oh, this is too much of Sanskrit for me to understand, tell me even less. If you can't read 18th chapter, read at least this one shloka. If you can't even read one shloka, at least read one word, mashucha. Even that if you believe in, you will redeem yourself. Mashucha means don't worry, surrender to me and don't worry. That is the ultimate essence, is somebody said. But I think when I read the 18th chapter for the sake of teaching, the essence of Bhagavad Gita is actually in the very first shloka. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre. Remember, Samayeta Yuyutsavaha. In that you take the Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre 4 words and rearrange them. Kshetre Kshetre Dharmam Kuru. Do your duty at all times, in all places. That's the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Because again, when you get into 18th chapter, half of the chapter is about karma only, duties. So while Karma Yoga got over in first 6 chapters, even less than first 6 chapters, now this 18th chapter, half of the chapter spends on how one should perform actions, what kind of actions we should perform, what are the reasons for which we perform actions, what are the various instruments and motivations for our actions, what does it lead to. All this is in the 18th chapter. So that is why if you see Bhagavad Gita's essence is Kshetre Kshetre Dharmam Kuru. Do your duty correctly at all times. That itself will take you to divinity. I always say love without duty is divine. Love with duty is human. And duty without love is not even human, demonic. So duty without love is deplorable. Duty with love is desirable. But love without duty is divine. So Krishna is teaching us, love without duty is something that you develop now. And again, 18th chapter will take us through a long explanation on various actions. I thought it might be worth spending 2 days on this chapter so that it completely sets into our minds and hearts and remains there forever, especially because we as an organization have reinvented ourselves as social organization, service organization, which is based on spirituality. Earlier we were a spiritual organization which was doing service. But now we call ourselves as service organization based on spirituality. It's just the other way around. So for somebody who is engaged in service, means engaged in action, that too, what kind of action? Supposedly selfless action. Supposedly actions without any expectations. Supposedly actions suffused with divine love. We have to be very careful in understanding how we are performing the actions. And as you go through this chapter, keep on assessing yourself. Are you really performing the actions the way it is supposed to be? Forget about those who are stuck in many other worldly pursuits. They have various reasons, their motivations are different, their intentions are different. The outcomes are different accordingly. But we who have been given an opportunity to perform selfless actions over here, are we doing it correctly or not? Or are we wasting an opportunity, something that you must all through assess for yourself? Don't assess the next person, assess yourself. Don't try to see whether others are doing the action properly. Find out whether you are doing everything right, having got this wonderful opportunity. So if you go from that point of view, you look at the last chapter, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, that yoga of sannyasa, which will take us to moksha. So moksha is also there, sannyasa is there, yoga is also there. Yoga only is moksha. Only a sannyasi can be yogi, truly. So it's all complementing each other, moksha, sannyasa, yoga. But being the fulcrum, being the Kalasha, as it is said, of the temple of Bhagavad-gītā. This is a very apt title, because this finally says that all this we have said and read and understood, it's only to this one end, which is to attain that moksha. Moksha is moha-kshaya. Started with moha. Remember Arjuna Vishada Yoga? It was moha. At the end, Arjuna will say, Nashto moha smritir labdha. My moha has been destroyed. The moha is destroyed, moha, kshaya has happened. It means moksha has happened. So Arjuna has attained that state of moksha. His moha has been destroyed. This is what he says at the end of this chapter. So this chapter is very beautiful, as again very detailed. You might feel a little overwhelmed with the details, but take it slowly, one step at a time. Arjuna uvacha, Arjuna says, Sannyāsasya mahabaho tattvam ichchāmi veditum tyāgasya cha hrishikesha prathek keshini shudana. I want to understand these two things, so Lord Krishna. Now I understood the whole of Bhagavad-gītā. I understood how many good and bad qualities are me, what am I to attain, how to overcome all these things. All this I have understood. Now I have heard that I have to give up the fruits of actions and I have to establish myself in that ultimate supreme principle by completely detaching myself from all other things. I understood that. So, basis which he is asking, I want to really understand now what is sannyāsa and what is tyāga. See, we expect tyāga means giving up certain things, and sannyasi also we think it is giving up things only. A sannyasi gives up all the worldly things, actions, and that's why it's sannyasi. But worldly people can also do tyāga, right? But do they become sannyasi by doing that tyāga? Arjuna has that question. Do I need to be necessarily a sannyasi only to perform all the tyāga? Or when I perform the tyāga, do I become a sannyasi on my own? What is the relation? How do I understand sannyasi and tyāga? And some time back, and this is a quite often repeated quote, that tyāgajivis will come. But when the university was established, I said, not tyāgajivis anymore. Yogajivis have to come now. Tyāgajivi is over. Narayan, but in his time, could only think that tyāgajivis are required to save the world. But I firmly believe yogajivis are required to save the world. Tyāgajivis can sacrifice their time, energy, money, efforts, or life for the sake of others. But unless that tyāga is established in yoga, not doing as a favor, not doing as a charity, not doing as a sense of doership of sacrifice, but doing it as a part of their nature, to give away, to serve, to sacrifice the nature. There is no thinking, oh, I am becoming a tyāgajivi, I am going to sacrifice. Such ideas should not exist in us. We should simply do things because that is what we are meant to do. We should transform ourselves in such a way. So, gone are the times of creating tyāgajivis. Our university is here to create yogajivis. Because tyāgajivis give more and take less, but yogajivis only give, they do not take anything. Whatever comes their way, they are satisfied and happy with it. You understand the difference between the two? So this is the difference between the sannyasi and the tyāgi. Tyāgi gives up fruits of actions. Sannyasi does not even think he is acting and giving up things. For him, from the day one, he is a yogi, he is established in that idea that I am divine and everything is done through me as my nature. And if my nature is sattvic, pure, naturally all sattvic things will be done through me. Without any expectations I will be performing, or duties will be performed by me or through me, not even by me, through me, and world welfare will happen. See, that is the very big difference between the mission then and mission now. And therefore you must keep that in mind. Only spiritually enlightened beings are needed here, not selfless and sacrificing beings. Selfless sacrifice is a quality of spiritually enlightened person by nature. But all sacrificing people may not be spiritually enlightened. They may be on their way. So you are on your way. Salokyam, sarupyam, samipyam, sayujyam. So I need sayujyam people. But of course it takes time, so you are on your way. It's a good news that you are on the right path. Someday you will reach, as long as you keep walking and do not take a U-turn or jump out. Yesterday somebody came and told, Swami, please accept, after listening to the discourse, I said, once I accept you and take care of you, I promise you that I will take care of you. I will not let go of you. He said, Swami, please make sure that we are also in your boat that you are taking us across. I told, you are already in the boat. Just don't jump out of the boat when the boat rocks. That's all you ensure. Hold on tight, because boat is on the sea and storms will come. No, the sea will go, the waves will throw the boat up and down. And when the boat is rocking, don't give up. hold on, because somehow you have managed to get inside the boat. Bhavasagara, we are crossing slowly. I'm rowing you across. But when there are ups and downs in this journey, don't you give up your pursuit. Don't you get afraid or fall out for the lack of convictions. Hold on to it. That is your job now. Nothing more you need to do. Now you have got into the boat. That is the best thing that has happened to you. The only thing, ensure don't get out of it. No, you want to reach a certain place. All you have to do is get into the train or ride bus. It will take you to your destination. If you get out of the train or a bus on the way at some destination which is in between, then there is no hope for you. What is the fault of the train or the driver of the train? Not at all. So likewise, I was telling them. So sannyasa and yoga are the things that I am asking for. Tyāga is the stepping stone to sannyasa yoga. Tyāga is the stepping stone to become yogi. But yogi is what is required now. Jivan muktas are what is required now. Jivan muktas as teachers, Jivan muktas as engineers, Jivan muktas as doctors, Jivan muktas as volunteers, Jivan muktas as all our people in our organization. That is the need. So he is telling us about it here. So what another difference that I have to tell you about, this is very beautiful, is in whole life we have to do two things. One is tyaja and bhaja. Tyaja durjana samsargam, but that is not enough. Bhaja sadhu samagamam. If you don't detach yourself from the bad, your progress won't happen. But the moment you detach, you have to attach it to something else. Otherwise mind will again go back to the old things, old ways. Yogo bhavati dukkhada. Only when you establish yoga, your all sorrows will be destroyed. But to establish yoga, you must quickly attach your mind to the God, to divine principles. So the whole life is about tyaja and bhaja. So tyāga is tyaja part of it. Sannyasa is bhaja part of it. Tyāga is giving up the wrong attachments, and sannyasa is holding on to the right convictions and right attachments. That's how we must think of our whole life. So he is asking Arjuna asks Krishna, and what beautiful word he uses, Rishikesha, who has conquered all the senses, mind and everything. Oh Krishna, you are the best person. He says Mahabaho. This time Arjuna is addressing Krishna as Mahabaho. Mahabaho means very capable being, or long arms who can embrace everyone. So that is, so Tattvam Ichchami Veditam. Please tell me the ultimate principle of sannyasa and tyāga. This is how this chapter starts. And then Krishna, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. When Bhagavan Uvacha, not nowhere in the Bhagavad-gītā will say Sri Krishna Uvacha or Sri Vasudeva Uvacha. Never it says. Always it says Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. That's why somebody asked, how many shlokas did Sri Krishna speak in Bhagavad-gītā? I said, not even one. Hey, you don't know Bhagavad-gītā at all. Whole Bhagavad-gītā is spoken by Sri Krishna. And I said, no, it's been spoken by Sri Bhagavan through Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna didn't speak. Bhagavan spoke through Sri Krishna. Bhagavan means, Bhaga means effulgence, illumination, which is the symbolism for knowledge, wisdom. So that wise consciousness spoke through Sri Krishna. So this is why Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, what he says, Kamyanam karmanam nyasam sannyasam kaivayo viduhu sarva karma phalatyagam prahus tyagam vichakshanaha. Sri Krishna is saying, people, knowers of the truth or the wise ones, viduhu. What do they say? They say, Kamyanam karmanam nyasam sannyasam. Kavayo means wise people, those who know, viduhu, those who know things, they say. What do they say? Giving up the desire as the motivation for your actions. Because you want to fulfill a desire, therefore you are performing actions. Giving up that desire part of it, kamyanam, such actions which are born out of desires, is sannyasam. That's what he's saying. And sarva karma phalatyagam prahus tyagam vichakshana. The other option is, you have had a desire, you started on the action, but now you have a result which is coming out of the action, but you are giving up the results. That is tyāga. One is desireless action is sannyasa. Second is giving up the fruits of action is tyāga. This who says? Krishna says, wise people say. I'm not saying it. Wise people say that because Krishna's opinion will come later. He's saying what has been written in the scriptures, so people might have different definitions of sannyasa and tyāga. Shri Krishna is enlightening Arjuna that there are people who have their own understanding of what is sannyasa, what is tyāga. This is what they say. And then he says, Tyājyam doshavadyitye karma prahur manishinaha yajna tahpa karma nyatyajamiti chapare. Some more people are there, manishina, wise people, learned people. What they say? They say, Tyājyam doshavadyitye. Those actions where there are faults. What faults are that? It is not doing welfare of others. It is not done with pure intentions, it is selfish in its nature. All these things you calculate. If there is any fault in your action like this, these kind of tamasic, rajasic actions, then people say give it up. Give it up. Because one set of people say like that. But other set of people say yajna, dana, tapa. When you do these three karmas, remember last chapter is a yajnas you have to do, tapa you have to do, and dana. These things should never be given up. That is what they're saying. It means if there is fault also in this, you must continue performing because this is what you are supposed to do here. Whereas others say even if there is a little fault in any of these things, give up those actions. That is your tyāga. That is the definition of tyāga for them. So different people are saying different things. Some people give up, no? Oh, I am not able to do it well, I give up. And they say I have become a tyāgi and a sannyāsi. No, not true. You have given up for some other reason. Or sometimes others will tell you, please give up, don't sing anymore. You are torturing us. Some people give up singing because they think, I am not able to do it well, this is not my cup of tea, let me give up. And they don't become a singer at all. Some people, despite singing wrongly with apashrutis, they go on singing, then others have to tell, please, for the sake of the betterment of the world, peace in the world, stop. So both reasons are there. Give up the actions when you are not able to perform it correctly, but don't give up these three actions even if there is a fault in it. So different people have said different things is what Krishna is saying. But we want to know what Krishna thinks of sannyasa and tyāga, right? We are interested in the Supreme saying it because others might have their own interpretations. We want to know what Krishna says. But before that, know that there are many types of actions that we perform. As per our scriptures, there are nitya karmas. Nitya karmas mean daily duties, having your bath, brushing your teeth, eating your food, wearing your clothes. These are basic duties, or if you are a teacher, performing your duty as a teacher because you have been appointed as a teacher or a doctor or a volunteer. These are the things, these are your duties which have been given to you by virtue of what you are. So these are daily duties which everybody has to perform. That is one type. There is nothing special about it. Then there are naimittik karmas. Naimittik karmas are occasional karmas. Suddenly an exceptional karma that you have to do. Your father, for example, suddenly fell sick. Now you have to give up your office job on that day. Go and attend to your father. These are sudden, occasional things. Or there is a sudden visit of somebody senior and you must attend to them and not attend to your regular duty. Or any other thing that you can think of where you have to do something which is not a part of your regular duties, but sometimes you have to do exceptional work, or occasionally something which is not a part of your duty. That is called naimittik karma. These are far and few. Then kamya karma, those actions which are born out of a desire. Why are you studying? Not because my duty is to study as a student. You don't consider your nitya karma. I am studying because I want to get a gold medal and then I'll become a big man, I'll get an employment, a good job and this and that. So kamya karmas. Same thing, nitya karmas can become kamya karmas. But please make sure that study should not become naimittik karmas. Only when warden comes and shouts, you start studying. It is your nitya karma only. You have to do it, discharge it as a part of your duty. But kamya karma means born out of some desire. Good or bad, whichever desire. Even a desire to build a hospital is a kamya karma only, as long as it is a desire. Nishiddha karma is also their fourth type, which is prohibited actions. Law does not permit you to do certain things. Hostel rules or community rules do not permit you to do certain things. These are all nishiddha karmas. You should not do it. If you do it, then you have to face the music. Prayashchit karma. After having done nishiddha karmas, comes prayashchit karmas, repentance. You made a mistake despite knowing it shouldn't be done, and now you have to repent for it. So that karma which is done to make up or repent for what wrong you did, that is called prayashchit karmas. We all do prayashchit karmas every day. Even if we pray to God saying, I want you to forgive me for the wrong that I have done. What are we chant, no? Vihitam, avahitam va, sarvame takshamasva, jai jai karunabde shri mahadev shambhu. In a way it is a prayashchit karma. Because there is a desire associated with it, and it also knows that if some mistake had happened knowingly and unknowingly, it should be forgiven. So prayashchit karma. Then we have other types of prayashchit karmas. We go to various holy places and take a bath and think that all our sins will be washed away. Or we offer something to God and hope that with this small bribe that we are offering to the temple, He will take care of all our karmas. But all kinds of things people do. However, even Sri Rama, when he killed Ravana, he went to do prayashchit. And that I have killed a Brahmana. Ravana was a Brahmin, though he was not behaving like a Brahmin, that's a different matter. But Sri Rama, being so virtuous, wanted to set an example that I shouldn't have killed a learned man. So he went and did. So even Rama did prayashchit for whatever karma. Because it was born out of a desire to get back Mother Sita and duty of a husband and things like that. So even God, when comes in human body, is bound by karma. But those karmas can fall in various categories. So that is the idea. Now once you know these categories, 5 categories, let us look at what Krishna ji thinks about karma, tyāga and sannyāsa. He says, Nishchayam shrudu me tatra tyāge bharata sattama tyāgo hi purusha vyagra trividha samprakirtitaha. There are 3 kinds of tyāga. Nishchaya shrudu me tatra. Listen to me of my certain opinion. What I think of tyāga, sacrifice. What I think of as per my conviction. Listen to it now. What is it? Trividaha, 3 types. You will say, oh, always Krishna categorizes everything into 3 types. Good boys, bad boys, and okay boys, like that. Same, good girls, bad girls, and okay girls. This is how life is. Always it categorizes into 3 parts. So these were the 3 parts. He says, even Tyāga by itself is of 3 types. Remember last time he asked, tell me those who have Shraddha but they do not know scriptures, what is their fate? He says, first to learn there are 3 types of Shraddha. In Shraddha, if you have Sattvic Shraddha and you have not read the scriptures, it's okay. But you have Rajasi Shraddha and you have ignored the scriptures, not okay. You have Tamasic Shraddha, you have no respect for the scriptures, not okay. So that is the idea. 3 types of Tyāga. He calls Arjuna by beautiful names. Bharata Sattama, best of the Bharatas. Because he expects him, when you want the child to do some good thing, you are the best boy. I expect you to behave in this way. So already he's telling, see, I am telling you something and I expect you to behave accordingly. Best of the Bharata, the son of Bharata. And Purusha Vyagra, he says, you are the lion amongst all the men. Why? Because performing sacrifices requires courage. Giving up things requires courage. Snatching, holding on and preserving and saving, that does not require courage. To give up something that you are so attached to requires courage. To let go of it requires courage. So all Tyagis are great courageous people. Bhogis are not courageous. You think they are courageous because they fought a battle and won a kingdom and now they are enjoying the kingdom. No, they are not real courageous. If you had something in your control, yet you gave it up for the betterment, your betterment and societal betterment, that is courage. So that Tyaga requires courage. The Purusha Vyagra Trividha Samprakirtitaha is being known as 3 kinds. Is declared by me. Who? Krishna is the authority now. He's not talking about scriptures, not the wise people, not the earlier people who have lived and said things. It is his personal opinion. So it's important. We listen to it. Yajna dana tapak karma na tyadyam karyameva tat yajno danam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. He also says yajna dana and tapa should not be given up. Even if there are certain faults in it, we are not able to do it well, learn to do it well, improve, but don't give it up. Many people say, I can't do it right, so let me give it up. Some people say, when I tell them, you should talk about idealism and good things to your younger generation and things like that. They sheepishly come and tell me, but I am myself not following it 100%. I feel guilty when I speak about it. So they don't want to come onto the stage or talk to their younger people. I said, who is perfect? Tell me. Unless you are Brahmaleen, you cannot be perfect. Some fault will be there in your every action, thought, word and action. Some fault, unless you are always operating from that Brahma Sthiti. The moment you are a human, your mind takes charge, some fault will always be there. They can't be perfect. So don't expect too much out of you. And even if there is imperfection in you, know it within, but yet speak good things only outside so that you inspire other people. But speak humbly because you have not yet followed it. So please empathize with them and follow it. Yesterday somebody asked me, Swami, I made such big mistakes, yet you have accepted me. You did not abandon me, but my family abandoned me. If I committed this sin or whatever, and you have still accepted me. I told him, see, you are, just now I am teaching Bhagavad, Guna Gunesha Vartanta. Gunas are the one which drive us to do things, and these gunas we are bringing from other births also. It's not only this birth. I appreciate that idea. I appreciate and I empathize with you that sometimes it is out of your hand to behave in a certain way. So sometimes you cross the line. I understand that. But deep inside you are sattva, you are good. I see that also in you. I see the potential of improvement in you. I don't see the present condition. I see what you will be in the future. That's why I have love for you. That's why I can still be compassionate and forgiving. So that is, and more than that, I also know that it takes effort to overcome negativity, faults. And everybody has to go through this process. I am not saying one is superior than the other. Somebody is little ahead, somebody is little behind. We are all on the same path. How can I not empathize with you when I myself have to go through all these things, having attained a body and a mind? So let us appreciate each other's situation. It makes us more compassionate and empathetic. When some people make mistakes, It may look like a mistake done in a jiffy or even on purpose. Let us develop a little more compassion and acceptance. That will transform them. Yesterday we saw Narayan Bhatt movie also. How he accepts the child who had come with a knife to stab his classmate over some small quarrel. But how Narayan Bhatt, instead of punishing and ridiculing and humiliating him in front of all, very kindly took him aside and explained to him the consequences of what will happen if you perform such an act. And that will come in one of the shlokas now. So keep that in mind. Consequence of what will happen. Purva Tapa should be there. Should be able to think. And that's how he consoled him and calmed him down. And the boy was so grateful because he thought he will get a good scolding and even ridicule, or be even removed from the class, but he was not. So he transforms. That is the idea of these people. So he says, Yajna, Dana, Tapa, Karma are your duties. You shouldn't give it up. Even if you are not able to perform it perfectly, strive to make it better every day, but don't give it up. Because Yajna, Dana, Tapaschaiva, Pavanani Manisham, because these purify you. What kind of yajna will purify us? Sattvic yajnas, which you do for the sake of doing. That will purify us. Then what kind of dana will purify us? Which you give without thinking you are the giver. You share. That dana will purify us without any damba in it. And then tapa. What kind of tapas will purify us? That tapas which is done only for this self-improvement, not for showing off to anybody, or not by torturing and taking to the wrong routes of austerities. Just to purify one's mind. Selflessly what you do, that tapa you do. Don't give it up. Even if you are still rajasic or tamasic here and there, don't give it up, Krishna says. That is the first rule. Will we remember this? Let us not give up our pursuit in our lives. Let us not become diffident and weak-minded because we are not able to do things perfectly as Swami expects us to do. Even then, I would appreciate the effort that you put. I always tell, better to try and fail than not to try at all. Better to try and fail. Try your best. Pratno videyaha, scriptures. Keep trying till you get it. So this is the great encouragement Krishna is giving. Yes, there might be faults, yet don't give up what you have got to do. Even with faults, try to improve and continue. That is the first opinion Krishna says. And our Shankaracharya also says, Karmani chitti shuddhyatam. All the karmas should lead to purification of mind. But that is not sufficient. This is the first step to the ultimate truth. This is just the beginning. This is not the end. Once you start doing your actions perfectly, I have become God. No, you're not. There's doership in it. All that will come next. So that Krishna says like that. So these people are those who do things for the sake of their own personal welfare. Atmano mokshartam jagadhitaya. But yajna, dana, tapa should not be given up. Yajna, duties. Dana, charity, which is beyond the call of duty. Tapa, spiritual austerities for the sake of one's own personal improvement. These cannot be given up. Then he says, Etanyapi tu karmani sangam tyaktva falani cha kartavyaniti me partha nishchitam matam muttamam. In these also, whatever yajna, dana, kripa, tapa you are doing, what should do it without any sangha, attachment. Sangam tyaktva. Give up attachment to that action and the result that arises from thereon. Action also should be given up. Attachment to the action also should be given up. Some people are there, they have got used to certain things. I tell them, this may not be good for you. You try another way of doing things. But they can't give up because they're so habituated. Creatures of habits. They don't want to give up. Somehow they want to believe that somehow they will manage with it. So he says, therefore, give up the sangha, attachment to the action itself, and phalanicha, and the results of the action. Do yajna, dana, tapa, even if you're doing it in a faulty way, continue to do, don't give up. Second, try to give up the attachment to those yajna, dana, tapa, and the fruit of the action. It means if I have not studied well, and naturally I'm not going to get great marks. Whatever marks come, accept it and be happy. Then you don't repent, then you don't cry. That is not right. Similarly, if you've done good efforts, you got good marks, everybody is praising you, don't get excited. That also you give up. Yajna, dana, tapa, kriya, all kriyas you perform without attachment to the action or to the phala. Kartavyaniti, because these are to be done. There is nothing special. I am not doing a favor to everybody by continuing to teach in the class well. Some people want reward and award for good teaching or good service. I sometimes give them for their little bit of, creating an example for others. But within their hearts, they should not desire for any recognition or reward. They should do it because that's a part of your duty. Somebody acknowledges it, appreciates it, or does not. It doesn't matter to you. You are doing it because that is what you ought to do. That's your nature. Doing good is our very nature. Doing good is not some special service. It should be a part of you. That's what kartavyam iti. This has to be done. Therefore, it is my kartavya. It is my duty. And there is no special recognition I need for it. This attitude you perform yajna, dana, tapa. Krishna is saying. So beautiful, so kind and so understanding Krishna is. He tells us that give up attachment only and do it selflessly and do it as a part of your duty. Don't expect anything out of it, not even appreciation, recognition. That's why I tell me how easy it is to follow these principles of action in our institutions. Tell me. So easy. Because whatever you do, it's helping as a charitable thing which is helping somebody in need. See, already your action is very beautiful action, which will lead you to moksha. In that, try not to get attached to your way of doing things. If something you're doing wrong, somebody gives you feedback, be open. Be open to change your ways, accept the feedback and improve yourself. Don't reject things like that. Then don't get attached to the results of the actions also. I am a great teacher, I am a great doctor, I am a great volunteer, I am a great devotee. I must be acknowledged. No, not required. This is what you're supposed to do here. You have to be a selfless servant and do your job perfectly to the best of your abilities. You should not be asking for anything in return for that. And this is so easy to do it here. Outside you can't do it. They get ahead in life. Sometimes our children outside are very humble and docile. Sometimes they are not speaking enough because they think Krishna said don't speak about, don't expect anything. Yes, that is true. But again it's a desha kale cha patre cha. Remember your time, situation and whatever person you're dealing with and deal accordingly. If you have to tell, you have to tell. If you don't have, should not tell, you should not tell. Depends on what is your attitude in life. So look at the situations and do. Don't do without thinking properly. So these are the best ways of doing things, Krishna is saying. Then what does he say? Niyatasya tu sannyāsa karmano nopapadyate mohatasya parityaga tamasa parikirtitaha. This time he's starting with tamasic people and how do they do actions. Generally he starts with rajasic, but I think we'll quickly associate or understand, so that's why he started with tamasic. And what does he say? Niyatasya tu sannyāsa. What has to be done by them under daily duty, they don't do it. These are the people. Niyatasya tu sannyāsa. What is supposed to be done, they give up all that. Or the other way of looking at it is, they don't do their basic duties also, whatever is supposed to be done in the name of sannyasa. I am a sannyasi, therefore I have given up all these things. What you have given up? I don't come to office anymore. I don't work in any government or any service. So many people sit in their rooms. Why are you sitting in the room? Why are you not coming and doing service? No, I am a sannyasi. I have given up all the actions and desires and fruits. Have you given up food, lunch? Are you coming for lunch? Of course I am coming for lunch. These are those. Niyatasya tu sannyasa. What is to be done by them, they give it up in the name of becoming sannyasis. Karmano na upapadyate. But these actions should not be given up, but they give it up. And then what they do? Mohat tasya. Because of mohat, because of wrong understanding, delusion, and thinking that we are giving up because of this moha, they think they have to give it up. And parityaga, they do this renunciation or the sacrifice or the giving up of actions out of delusion. They are tamasaha. They are known as tamasa parikirtita. They are declared as tamasic. What happened to Arjuna when he came in the first chapter of battle? He gave up the action, no? And what did he say? Because of my action, so much destruction, damage will happen. I better beg and need. Why should I kill my own kith and kin? Why should I cause damage to my own clan? All these things. But was he doing it out of pure sattvic feelings, or was he saying this out of moha? Moha. So when Arjuna was giving up a duty which he was supposed to do as a warrior, as a warrior to establish dharma, he was giving up his duty. He was performing tamasic way of tyāga. He was not really sacrificing for the betterment of everybody. He was sacrificing because he was overcome by delusion, not otherwise. So such tyāga is tamasic tyāga. Don't do that. Such sannyasa is tamasic sannyasa. Those are not real sannyasis. Then Krishna says, Dukkham ityeva yat karma kaya klesha bhayat tyajet sa kritva rajasam tyāgam naivam tyāga phalam labet. There are others. Why they give up action is very difficult. It causes pain and suffering. It is a lot of effort. And I am not sure whether I will succeed or not. I may not get enough marks, so give up studying altogether. Anyway, I think I will fail either way if I studied. So give it up. They give up actions dukkham because the action is painful to do. It is sorrowful to do. It is a little difficult to do also. Yat karma kaya klesha, because their body will be put to suffering. The efforts are there. They have to sweat it out. So they don't want to take up the action. And bhayat, because of fear, that what fear? They may not be able to do it well, everybody will laugh at them. Or they will not succeed and there will be a disappointment. So out of all these fears, they give up action and they say, I am a sannyasi, I am a tyāgi. But they are not really giving up. They are giving up because their afraid of results, or they are lazy. In a way, not lazy, but they are afraid of the difficulties that they will have to face. Many people give up doing good work, seva. Why? Difficulties will come. You start a good work, 10 people will come to stop you. That is the way it is. Shayamsi bahuvignani. Many difficulties come. Are we not facing difficulties every day? We are. Every day. Should we give up because it is difficult? No. We don't give up because that is leading to so much good to so many people. I always tell, look at the end result, what is happening at the end. Don't look at the process. Process is difficult. There are challenges. At the end, what it is doing, there are children getting educated. They will be good, noble citizens. There are people getting health. They will be able to contribute to their family, look after themselves. They won't be a burden. There are children who are getting fed. They'll grow up with strong individuals. They'll grow up as spiritual individuals. All this result is so beautiful. Effort is not a problem. So these people don't think there is an effort in this. That's why I always say, where there is shrama, there is no prema. Where there is prema, there is no shrama. Being in ashrama, you should not feel shrama in anything. If you feel it's an effort, it's a burden to do service here, to study, to go to office, to work, it means you are a Rajasi person. And then you give up things saying that I don't want to do it because this is difficult. Then you are a Rajasi person. Tyāga is Rajasic tyāga only. It is not a Sattvic tyāga. So he says, don't get into this kind of ideas of tyāga. You may see people not working or giving up things or actions or fruits of actions, not because of Sattvic qualities, because of Rajasic also. Some people are there, they'll try something, they won't be able to achieve it halfway through. It's okay, you continue, you take the credit and you get your name. But truth is that they've messed up the whole thing and now they don't know which way to get out. Many times cooking is like that. Start cooking, halfway through you realize this is a big mess. Then, you want to call somebody and take help. And don't mind sharing the credit. But you want to get out of the mess. Like that we do things wrongly and then we expect help. And then you want to give up. But it appears as if we gave up because we are tyagis. Third type he says, Karyam ityeva yat karma niyatam kriyate arjuna sangam tyaktva phalam chaiva sat tyāga satviko mataha. What are the sattvic kind of tyagas? He says, Karyam ityeva yat karma. Whatever needs to be done, karyam. Remember, we have nitya karma or naimittik karmas, whatever our duties are there. We perform that because we are supposed to do those activities. We should not shy away or run away from that. Niyatam kriyate arjuna, whichever has been niyati. Niyati means prescribed. That is niyata karma or nitya karma is similar thing. So niyata karma, I am supposed to be a student, I must study, put my best effort. I am a doctor, I must treat patients with the best way. I am a teacher, I must do everything to help students come up. So that duty is to be done, therefore they do it. These are sattvic buddhi people. And sangam tyakta, yet they are not attached to it. Why are you doing like this? This is going wrong, do it another way. They are okay, they learn, they take feedback, they improve and grow from there. And phalam also, they don't expect the results out of it in terms of that they'll get appreciation. Of course, they expect the student will do well and come up in life. But I as a teacher will get a lot of praise and recognition. That is not in their mind. They're doing because that's a part of their duty. I always give the example of sun. Sun shines, burns himself out for the sake of giving light to everybody. Somebody benefits from the light, somebody may even suffer. Somebody may have allergy, they suffer. Somebody may need vitamin D, they want sunlight. All kinds of people have different expectations from sun. But sun has no expectations from anybody. River flows, giving everybody life, water and everything. Some people bathe their cows and buffaloes and even wash their cars and dirty clothes. River has no problem. Somebody come and worship and do arghyam and dhanam. River is not getting happier. So sattvic person's tyāga is like that. They do things for the sake of doing because that is what they are born to do. There is no special anything about it. And no attachment to the way they are doing or what they are doing. Tomorrow if it has to change, I shift you from one department to another. I tell you go from this campus to another or take up another job, not this. They have no problem. They say whatever is best for the institutions, I'm ready for it. I have no personal agenda. I will do service here only, in this way only, these many hours only. I will work with this team only. I will follow these rules only. They have no such idea, Sangam. They're okay with things. Because that's good for everybody. With that idea they work. And phalam also. They don't expect any results. So that is the tyāga which is sattvika. God expects perfection and tolerates excellence. That's what I tell all the time. So even if you're excellent at our work, you are not still matching the standard of God. Yet He is compassionate to keep us and allow us and continue. It means we should be the ones who should be humble. Keep rising together. That's very important. That is why I said these people are those who do their work. Ashtavakra says it's a great inspirational quote. quote from Ashtavakra. He says, Pravritto va nivritto va naiva dhirasya durgraha yadayat kartum ayati tatkritva tishtati sukham. Those who are real jnanis, they have no problem with engaging or withdrawing from things. They have no problem with changing their work place or people or team or whatever. They are okay. Because it's doing good for the country, good to the society, helping them evolve. They have no problem. Yadayat kartum ayati, whatever comes their way, they do it and they are happy only. They never complain, they never cry, they never demand. These are the people with less baggages and they are very easy to work with. So they are good people, their tyāga is also very good and we need such people. In fact, if everybody was living like this, we never needed a service organization like ours. I always say the best service you can do is do your duty properly. If every sweeper swept the hole properly, if every teacher taught the children properly, if every politician ruled the state properly, if every servant served the society properly, why we need a service organization? We could have been just spiritual organization then, because that is our job. But our case is different. I have to do both the role. Everybody here has to do both the roles. One, run these institutions, which is it's a huge organization that you are running. At the same time, also see to that spiritually people are evolving, so impart spiritual lessons also. See, I can't give up both. Now we have learnt about tyāga. Next, Krishna is talking about karma. Several things. Now, this is where we are getting to thick of the chapter, where he talks about karma and what kind of karma, what are the reasons for doing karma. Na dveshtaya kushalam karma kushale na anushajjate. The one who does not hate inferior work or whatever the work is lesser than so supposedly his abilities and status. Or the one who does not have a special desire to do only certain type of works is okay with either. Tyāgi sattvama samavishto, because he's enveloped, his influence is motivated by sattvic tyāga. Such a person, medhavi chinna samshaya, such a person is intelligent, he has no doubts, he has no problems, he has no issues with anything. This is the conclusion of the tyāga part of thing. Who are these people? They don't hate a certain work, they don't like a certain work, they don't go by dislikes or likes. They go by what is needed to be done, what is their duty to be done. As far as you cannot always get the work that you love to do, but you can always love the work that you have got to do. That's where you are happy. Like what you do, not necessarily do what you like. Not always possible. Sometimes we have to do things which we may not like, but beyond likes and dislikes, we do it for the greater good of everybody. And such a person reaches the ultimate stage, all his doubts and issues are resolved. He will not have a question or a complaint in his life. Then he says, Nahi deha brata shakyam tyaktum karmanya sheshataha yastu karma phalatyagi satyagi ityabhidiyate. So who is a real tyagi? He says that, see, when you are in the body, deha brata, you are sustaining the body, you have to work for the body, you have to take care of the body. Tyaktum karmanya sheshataha, not possible to give up all actions. Because remember, Ashtavakra says, Yasyattah sat ahankaro na karoti karoti saha. If you have ego, that I am the body, or I have this body to sustain and manage, even if you don't do anything, you still end up doing. Even you are eating the food, it also is an action. Your sleeping also is an action, Ashtavakra says. Because you have this ego identity with the body and you're not identifying with the Supreme. Therefore, for people with body consciousness, it is not possible to give up actions completely. So that kind of sannyasa, karma sannyasa is not possible, he says. So what is possible for us? Yastu karma phalatyagi satyagi ityabhidiyate. But rewards of the actions, or the fruits of the actions, if you can sacrifice, give up, you are still a tyagi, in my opinion. So how practical. He's not saying you will be tyagi only when you give up body consciousness, then only you will be tyagi. You will be tyagi only when you give up all the actions, you will be tyagi. Or doership, you are tyagi. He's saying, I'm okay. It's very difficult for people in the body to give up all sense of doership and all actions. But what I can expect from you is, at least the fruits you can offer it to me. Even if you can't give up action, can't give up doership, can't do it perfectly also, yet you must do yajna dana tapa with sattvic bhavana and offer the results to me. That is the minimum you can do. This we have heard before also, but now with much more details. Karmanyavadikaraste mahapaleshu. All that we have heard, but this time it's in much more detail about the workings of the mind behind. When we perform action and we are offering the fruits to Krishna, what is the result going on? My property is in a mess, I'll offer half of it to you. That is not the tyāga of karma. This is a trick that you're playing on God. So this attitude, you must perform your actions and give up the results of the actions, you will still be a tyāgi. This is what Krishna's whole idea of tyāga is. Then he says, Anishtam mishtam mishram cha trividam karmana phalam bhavatya tyaginam pretya na tu sannyasinam kochit. Now, what is the difference between tyāgi and sannyasi? Remember, we have to answer that. He is coming to that. Anishtam, ishtam, mishram cha, trividham karma phalam. All actions will have three types of results: favorable, unfavorable, and mixed, which is our daily experience, right? Anything you do turns out to be good, you're happy, it's favorable to you. Turns out to be bad, you're unhappy. Turns out to be okay, you have mixed feelings about it. So there are three kinds of results that you will get from every action: good, happy results, sad or not so good results, and mixed results. This is all applicable to tyagis. They will have the three types of results, then they have to give up the results and offer it to Krishna. But bhavati tyaginam pretya, this all happens to the atyaginam, those people who are not really renounced. They experience these three things because they are experiencing the results at the end. After that, they can become tyagi and give up the results. You understand my point? First step is you perform the action as a normal person. Then you get results out of it, which are of three kinds. After that, you try to be a tyagi of giving up the results, whichever be the results. This is for people who have not done tyāga. They'll have experienced all the three results. Once they do tyāga, this is gone to God. They don't experience. But this does not apply to sannyasis, he says. Because sannyasis from the very beginning have no desire for anything. From the very beginning, they have no demand or no claim on the fruits of the action. From the very beginning, they have no need for doing action and then offering the results to Krishna. From the beginning itself, they think it's all done by Krishna, it's all done without any self-interest, without any selfishness. That's what Sarvarambha Parityagi. He is a true sannyasi. He was given up the initiation of all actions because he does not think and initiate. It's done through that person because he's always absorbed in the divine consciousness. He has no attachment to the body, mind and actions and results. So such a person, these mixed results and then sacrificing it, all does not apply. These mixed results or three kinds results are applied to atyagi people who have not sacrificed. Once they sacrifice, they also can get rid of it. But for a sannyasi, from the day one, from the very beginning, he's already established in a state that he doesn't have to worry about the results and then suffer the consequences. You understand the difference between the two? Tyagi is the one who thinks he's the doer because he has body consciousness and he has to perform actions. He may perform it right, wrong, good, not so good, whatever it is. But don't give up actions, Krishna is saying. Give up the fruits of the actions. But you'll have to suffer with the consequences of actions in the beginning. Second, sannyasis, this doesn't apply at all because from the day one, they are not the doers. They're not the desirers of doing actions. So they don't have any demand for fruits or its renunciation. That doesn't apply. From the day one, they are renounced. So that is true sannyasi. Then Krishna says, Panchaitani mahabaho karanani nibodhame sankhya kritante proktani siddhaye sarva karmanam. For all actions to be performed, our scriptures, Vedanta, our Sankhya, says this, what? That 5 things are required. There are 5 aspects, 5 factors to do every action. Why Krishna is going into such detail? So that you can go and find where the fault lies in your actions. You are saying, I'm not a tyagi, I'm not a sannyasi, my actions are not perfect. Sometimes I'm attached to the results and the way we do actions. Now you go and further he analyzes, breaks it down for you to find which portion of that thing is, which portion of your action is faulty. So you can correct that instead of pouring water in the wrong place. You know, there are machines, we are putting that city machine and all that. It will do a lot of, we have discussions going on, how many slides, how many times in a second, how many slides, whatever pictures it will take. Idea is what? To pinpoint where exactly is the fault. Yes, your whatever the body is showing some trouble. Which part of the body and what is the trouble? You want to go down to the detailing. Krishna is getting into the detail of where the fault lies with your action because there are 5 aspects to every action. Now these 5 aspects, adhishtanam tatha karta, karanam cha pratak vidam, vividhascha pratak cheshta, daivam chaivatra panchamam. 5 kinds are there. One, adhishtanam, the place where the action is being done. In ours, if you see from individual point of view, the body in which the action is being done, or from the community point of view, the office, the field, the work area, whatever. Adhishtanam. Tatha karta. Second is karta, the doer, who identifies with the action that I am doing the action. That is the second aspect. Third, karanam, the instruments that have been used to perform the actions. Individual case, all the senses and dashendriyas and mana and buddhi and all that. If it's outside, if you want to see the instrument that the doctor uses, a scalpel or a knife or a suture or whatever. So that is his instruments. These are different kinds, these are 3. And then vividhashta pratak cheshta, and the cheshta, the kind of action you are performing, the motivations behind the way you are performing that action, that cheshta. That also can be different for different people. I tell you, cut vegetable, somebody will nicely cut into small square, dices like thing. Somebody will make a messy cutting. Instrument is same, doer is also same, means hands only are the doer. Place is also same, the kitchen, but the type of action turns out to be different. That is cheshta. The different types of cheshtas, different people have different way of doing things. Then daivam, and there are external factors. Daivam also means fate or niyati, or a higher force or a power, devatas. Everything we require devatas help. In the beginning we had studied. Dasyate, yajna bhavita, devatas give us things, bless us when we perform things for their sake. So there are other factors. For example, we want to forecast the slab for the hospital. Adhishthanam is hospital site. Karta is construction company. Karnam is the concreting machine. And pratak cheshta, how will we do? We will pump it up and then do. We will not lift it by buckets and pour there. All that is done. Finally rains come. All the work stops. So that is the fifth factor. The other external circumstances which do not allow you to do things which are sometimes beyond your control. So now you understand these five aspects of every action. So where the fault lies, you have to find out in your action. Is it in the doership that you are experiencing, the ego that comes with it, or is it in the very place or very situation in which you are acting, or is the fault lies with the instrument that you are using, the way you are using eyes, nose, ears, mouth, whatever is required to do the action, or is it because of the process of doing the action, the cheshta, the endeavors, or is it because of some external factor which has come in your way? Most of the time we will say it is daivam only. We always blame it on daivam. If we can't do anything, God's will, God's wish. We use this philosophy totally wrongly. I was coming traffic, because of traffic I got late. You started late, you won't tell that. Traffic, I got late. Why did you not study well? Why? What happened? Fever came. Which fever was there? Examination fever. So I couldn't study. They'll give all excuses. But sometimes this could be genuine also, daivam. Like example, rains came, we can't cast a slab. Now what can you do? It got delayed by another day or two. So a storm came in Bay of Bengal or whatever, and then we had to suffer with it. So these are the things which are daivam. So there are 5 reasons why actions happen, and you have to be very careful about noticing where the fault in your action lies. Sharira vang manobhihi yat karma prarabhate naraha nyayam va viparitam va panchayate tasya hetava. Whatever actions we perform using sharira, remember sharira tapa, performing actions through your body, vang tapa, through your speech, mano tapa, through your mind. These are the 3 places we perform action. Try to think deeply. These are the only 3 ways we can perform action: through the body, through the word, or through the thoughts. Thought, word and deed, that's what we say. They have to be good. So you might be doing good deeds, but your thoughts are bad. Your thoughts may be good, your capability is so poor that your actions are turning out to be bad. Or you speak wrong words, or speak not the appropriate words, anything. So these are the places where you do all the actions begin here. And nyayam cha vipritam cha, whether it's a good action, nyayam, or vipritam, the opposite to it, not good action, dharma or adharma. These 5 things only influence it. So all actions done by body, mind and words, all actions are done in a good way or a bad way, are influenced by these 5 factors only. You will remember that? Now there's too much of information, so you have to go back and do some mananam. Otherwise you will forget all that I have told. And then he says, Tatraivam sati kartaram atmanam kevalam tu yaha pashyati akrita buddhitvat nasa pashyati durmatihi. The one who thinks he alone is doing of everything and there is no other influence by anybody or anything, such a person is abuddhitvat. He has not understood the real way actions are performed. And because of that, such a person is durmati. He doesn't see things properly. Durmati means wrong understanding, wrong ideas. Why? I only became, when we win a cricket match, suddenly you take all the pride. I am the captain, because of me only we won the match. But the good captain will understand, no, the pitch was good, the ball was bouncing right, then today it didn't rain, it was a good weather, it was not very hot and sultry, so we didn't sweat too much, we didn't lose energy. Then what else he can say? My team fielded well, they stopped a lot of runs, my batsmen batted well, they saved a lot of, my bowlers bowled well. Because of all these things put together, and of course God's grace that I could be in a healthy condition today, and my family which supported me to play cricket despite there are other important things at home, and my country which sent me to play the match on their expenses, all these have come together, then we have won the match. Such a person will have this attitude. Whereas the other person, what will think? I only did everything. Without realizing there are so many things. Desha, Kala, Paristhi, Daivam, all these things are involved. He alone has not achieved anything in life. But the one who thinks like that is a foolish fellow, Krishna says. So Krishna himself says some time back, Tasya kartaram api mam vidhaya kartaram avyayam. I am the doer of everything, but yet I am not doer of anything, he says. Why? Because all these things are done by various people, various reasons. At the same time, he doesn't have the idea of doership also. It's done by the divine force. So this is the attitude of the people. Who is the karta for them? God is the karta. What is adhishthanam? The area, situation. That is the reason why it has happened well. Then what is the karanam? All the people, all the instruments, all his own personal instruments, everything that he has put to use, everybody's contribution is there. Then cheshta, the way it has been done, the way they bowled or batted or the way, everything was very good. That's why we won the match. And then daivam, temperature, weather, whatever was good. It didn't rain, so the match was not cancelled. We could finish the match, we could win the match. Pitch was good. So, he'll give credit to everything, everyone. He won't think he is the doer. But the foolish fellow will just think the other way around. Next. Yasya naham krito bhavo buddhir yasya nilipyate hatvapi sa iman loka na hanti na nibagnite. He says the person who has naham bhava, not I. Always say we were born crying, Koham, 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 who am I? Then we are wrongly told you are son of so-and-so, grandson of so-and-so. And even before we are born, our names have been put and our seat in a school is booked. And what we will become, our parents have already decided. Your grandfather was an engineer, so you also should be an engineer. No, your grandmother was a doctor, so you have to be a doctor. Okay, if girl is born doctor, if boy is born engineer. How much we think ahankara. And we teach this to our children who are born. Shuddhosi, buddhosi, niranjanosi is what we should teach. But we end up teaching them all wrong things. And then the fellow develops an ego. I am born in a big family. I am so intelligent. I am born with silver spoon. This is what I am going to be. All kinds of wrong identification. It's the fault with the parents and the society. So he says, the one who has developed naha krita bhava, I am not the doer. It's not because of me. Buddhir yasya nilipate. His mind or his buddhi, intelligence is not clouded. Because he thinks rightly, because he knows all these 5 factors are important to achieve anything. And therefore, it's not just me. Hatvapi sa iman lokan. Even if he kills somebody in this world, that's not applicable to you, that's applicable to Arjuna. Because he's supposed to kill in the battle, right? Krishna has to tell him practically that, see, next you are going to fight the war and kill people, even they're your own people. Na hanti. Such a person does not kill. Because why he has killed the opposite people? You say you have killed, because I saw the arrow was shot from your bow. It came from you. And that's why person killed. But he has to tell, what are the reasons for it? Let's analyze that. What is it? It's a Kurukshetra, it's a battlefield. We have agreed to fight a battle. Obviously, I have to kill the opposite person. Not just me, my Gandiva is so powerful, given by Shiva. That is very powerful. Therefore, I am able to kill somebody. Not me, but this Gandiva also is involved equally. Then, Dharma, Daivam, the situations, the very reason why I am fighting this war. That is also dharma sthapana. So many reasons are there Arjuna can propose, because of which Arjuna is not the killer alone. And he is not bound by this action of killing, because he has done for a greater cause. So such a person who has no ahankara, ultimately naham means I am not this body and the mind. I am the Atman. Atman is not bound by all these actions, reactions. The one who can establish in that bhava, then such a person is free all the time. Even he is doing anything, na karoti sa for the ahankara, nirhankarasya dhirena, na kinchit akritam kritam, Ashtavakra. The one who has no ahankara within, whatever he doesn't do it. So develop such an attitude, he's advising Arjuna. Then you are not the doer, you are not the enjoyer. You will not have to face the consequences of whatever you have done, because it has happened for many reasons. And karta, one of the aspects is karta. If you think you are not the body, you are not the mind, divine is doing everything for you, how can you be the killer of the other person? It's not possible. So adhishthanam, karta, all these things you have to take into consideration, the karanam and the other two, cheshta and daivam. Take all the things, and in karta part, if you get it right, that you are not the doer, Atman is the doer, God is the doer, immediately you are freed from all the entanglements of action, reaction. That is what I say, Hatvapi, even if you kill in here, you are not the killer, you will not be bound by the consequences. See, ultimately Krishna never loses the focus of why he is teaching Arjuna what he is teaching. He wants to convince him to fight the war without worrying about the consequences and doing that action in the right way, in the sattvic way. Even he knows Arjuna cannot realize his truth of oneness with Brahman by the end of Bhagavad-gītā and fight the war as if Brahman is fighting. Because even we know after that war happens, Arjuna still maintains the ego and doership. Many times he even scolded Krishna. Why? Because he still has the doership, but at least he has become a sattvic doer now. At least he has become sattvic tyagi now. At least he has become a person who is aware that it has to be fought for the sake of fighting, not for the sake of teaching a lesson to that Duryodhana and that Dushasana, to take a revenge. That clarity will come to Arjuna. That will help him to become a better person. It will pave way for his moksha sannyasa. That is why Krishna is teaching him about all the actions and things like that. Jnanam geyam parignyata trividha karma chodana karnam karma karteti trividha karma sangraha. Again, these 5 aspects you learnt about everything. Now he is going to get more details. He says, there are 6 more things that you must be aware of when you are performing actions. In that, 3 things are the propellers of the action. They push, they make the action happen, and 3 more things are constituents of the action. So 3 things are the reason why actions happen. 3 things are the part of that action which is being done. Reason means, for example, I know how to sing. So I have come to sing because I am a bhajan singer. Let us say that is an example I am taking. So who is the person coming? The one who has the knowledge of singing, the bhajan singer is coming. And what is the knowledge that he has? Singing is the knowledge that he has. And what is to be done? Singing is to be done. So these are the reasons for bhajan. It's a bhajan time, so singing has to be done. 2, the person has the knowledge of how to sing. 3rd, singing is the process that the person will perform. This is the reason why you have come here to sing. Because you are a bhajan singer in the first place, and it's bhajan time, and this is your turn to sing. These are the reasons you should sing. These are the motivators or propellers. And what is the singing itself? Singing has 3 parts. Mic or the throat or whatever you're using to sing. Then the very action of singing is a part of singing. 3rd, the doer who is singing is also part of the singing. So these 6 aspects he explains as Jnanam, Geyam, Parigyata. Jnanam means the knowledge of singing. Geyam means bhajan that you have to go into sing now. Which bhajan? Panduranga bhajan, Krishna bhajan, Ram bhajan. You have decided that, you know that. 3rd, Parigyata. Who is the knower of that bhajan? You are the knower of the bhajan. Or your music teacher, whoever is helping you sing that bhajan. These are the 3 things, Jnanam, Geyam and Gyata. Knowledge, known and the knower. Known is the bhajan. Knowledge is singing. And singer, in the sense, the knower of the singing is the singer. So he is the Gyata. These are the 3 parts of action which propel the action. Suppose you did not have knowledge of singing, could you have done this singing today? No. Suppose you had the knowledge of the singing, but you don't know which bhajan to sing. Can you sing today? No. Suppose you don't have understanding of how to sing, like you are not the Gyata of the singing, it's not possible for you. So like that, if you see, these 3 things are the reason why you do anything. Jnayam, Geyam and Gyata. Then, what are the parts of the action? Karanam, Karma and Karta. Karanam means instrument of action, the mic or the throat which you are using. And Karma is the very action, how you are singing, in Shruti, out of Shruti and things like that, because of your practice. 3rd, Karta, the doership that you carry, that I am the one who sang the bhajan. And I ask, who sang the bhajan? I sang the bhajan, you say. Who is I? This body, this student of this class. So that karma, that karta. So 6 things are there. Jnanam, Geyam, Gyata are the propeller of action. Karanam, Karma and Karta are the action itself, parts of the action. Why is Krishna again getting into such details? Because he again wants you to go and find fault as to where your action is not pure. Is it because of the kartritva bhava? Is it because you have lack of knowledge? It is because the instrument is faulty? Is it because of the wrong motivation to sing for your own ego? Is it because you don't know how to sing? No, you have not been taught or you didn't practice? Is it because of anything else? That in 6 factors you have to find out. So these are the 6 things. Jnanam, karma cha karta cha tridhaiva guna bhedataha. In these 6 things, only 3 things can be changed if you observe carefully. Which can be changed, you can think, but Jnanam can be changed. Your knowledge of music can be changed if you practice more, if you learn more, if you go back and listen to some other singers. Your Jnanam can be improved. So Jnanam can be changed out of the 6 things. Second thing, what can be changed? Karma can be changed. The very act of singing can be changed. How? You have practiced better. You have shown it to your teacher. They have found whatever mistakes and they have corrected it. So very action. And when you perform with devotion or arrogance, whatever thing. Third, what can be changed? Karta can be changed. The doer. Change means not change the bhajan singer. Change the attitude of doership. But if you sing badly, you also can be changed. So in the process of bhajan singing, these things can be done. One, knowledge of the bhajan, how to sing, how not to sing, that can be improved or changed. Second thing is the very karma, singing of the bhajan. You sing with devotion, with lot of sweetness, without apashrutis, that can be done. Sing fast or slow, sing a long bhajan or a small bhajan or whichever way. That can be changed. Third, karta, the very doer can be changed. In the sense, you can be a sattvic doer by offering it as a devotional offering to God, or you can be a tamasic doer believing that I am the best singer and that's why I should get the first bhajan, Nakand bhajan, why that other lady should get. All kinds of questions. So these are the 3 things out of the 6 that can be changed. So Krishna is very particular to elaborate on these 3 things. And he says, all these 3 things are also of 3 types. So you can imagine the complexity of karma. Did we even think once before doing anything that this is the philosophy, this is the science of action which binds us or liberates us? Did we even think this way? No, we simply blindly, foolishly sometimes go on performing actions. But Krishna says these are the things you have to look into. You should be so careful while performing action. So now he says, I can't change your throat. I can't, so therefore Karanam part is gone. I can't talk about it. I can't change the Jnayam, the song itself, because song has been decided. I can't change the Jnata, the knower of the song, because whatever you know is what you know. What I can change you can change your knowledge of singing by improving you. Second, I can change the very act of singing, action of singing by making it right. Third, I can change the very attitude of doership in you while you are singing. Or if you don't sing, I can change you doer itself and get somebody else to sing. So these are the 3 things only which are changeable in all actions. The remaining are fixed. So out of 6 things, 3 are fixed, only 3 are variables. And these 3 variables, if you influence and improve them, your actions will improve. Think for yourself. Sit down and think on any aspect. You are a footballer, you are a doctor, you are a teacher, you are a cook. Just think of these 6 things and see these 3 are the only things that you can improve. The other things are fixed. They are not variables. Then he says, what kind of person has good jnanam? Jnanam is the first thing, the knowledge of the subject or understanding of the subject or the vision or the comprehension of the subject is jnanam. So now what is the sarvabhuteshu yenaikam bhavam avyayam ikshate avibhaktam vibhakteshu tad jnanam vidhi satvikam. Sattvic people, again 3 types means sattvic, tamasic, rajasic. That's why we had the first preparatory course in Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, that these are the 3 things. Then because this is going to come again and again. Now he says, Sarvabhuteshu yenaikam bhavam avyam ikshate. The one who sees oneness in all. One who has that knowledge, that understanding, that comprehension, that all is one. Avibhaktam vibhakteshu. He sees the undivided in all divided things. The indivisible, immutable one in all divided things. The one who sees his knowledge is sattvic knowledge. So this is straight away in the higher spirituality he is going. What he says, among all that which looks divided and different, he sees only the oneness of everything. Such a person has sattvic knowledge. Like you are a bhajan group people. Individually you think, I am a bhajan singer. But as a group, you are all bhajan singers. That is your unity. So how will you look at each other? We are all bhajan singers. We are united by one reason. What is that? Bhajan singing. But no. What about the other students behind in the auditorium? We are all students of these institutions. So again, there is one more reason why you can be seeing each other as united. We are students of these institutions. So what, we are in this campus or that campus. So what, we are girls or boys. So what, if we are in this class or that class, we are united by one idea that we are all students of this institution. But what about the students of other institutions which are not a part of us? We are all students. Students, we are knowledge seekers, vidyarthis. So we are again one. Our seeking is one of knowledge. So we are one. But we are all students of this Karnataka. What about the students of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana and things like that? Oh, we are all part of one country. So we are all one. What about other countries? We are all part of one world. Therefore we are one. So he will or she will always find a reason to see oneness. And expand one's vision and not narrow, I, me, mine. They'll expand, we, ours. And every time they'll find a reason why we can think we are all equal or why we are all united. They'll find reasons like this. That is a very practical, physical level. But at the highest spiritual level, you see oneness of divinity in all. Eko vashi sarvabhutantaratma ekam rupam bahudha yat karoti. There is only one who is the Lord of everything and divides itself into many. Tamatmastam yena anupashyanti dhira tesham sukham shashvatam netaresham. Such a person will always be happy because he won't find differences. Dog in the room, full of mirrors, you remember? It thinks all are the different dogs and bugs. So one who sees oneness will have no problem at all. So that's a person's knowledge is sattvic knowledge, he says. He works not because he wants to benefit. He works because Everybody is one, and whatever he does should benefit everybody. So this is the idea of sattvic people. So his action, how will action be influenced, is why I am talking. One who has oneness as a knowledge, his action will be different from the one who is selfish and who thinks everybody is different. Religions are like that. So Advaita, Sanatana Dharma, all is one. Other dharmas, many, okay, there are various dharmas, they have their own path. We will leave it at that. Then some people, our dharma, our God, our way only is the right way. They're the most narrow-minded. Krishna will tell about them also. Then he says, Pratak tvenu tu yadgyanam nana bhavan pratak vidhan vetti sarveshu bhuteshu tadgyanam vidhi rajasam. This is sattvic buddhi. So what should be the rajasi buddhi? He sees different things as different. Why he sees different things as different? Because his vision is only limited to that extent. He can't see the purer divine self in all. Or a reason for finding how can we be united. He only finds reason to know how can we be divided. They will have no reason to see oneness at physical level, at societal level, at a global level, or at spiritual level. They can't see that oneness. They'll always find reasons to see things as different from each other, instigate and pit each person against the other for their selfish gains. Third is, Yattu Krishnavat ekasmin akarye saktam haitukam. He says those who have decided this is the only thing, this is the one thing only. What I know is all that it is. Ahaitukam, there is no logic in what they are saying. But somehow they stuck to that idea that this is what I know is the truth and there is nothing more than that. They are not willing to listen to anybody, not willing to improve, change, learn their knowledge. I know this is how the bhajan should be sung. I am the best bhajan singer, singing the same bhajan for 20 years, all wrong. But nobody can tell me that you have to change this. They stuck to that idea. They know everything. Nobody needs to tell them. Such kind of people, you can't improve. The one who thinks he knows everything, what can you teach him? So these people, tamasic people are like that. Atattvartham, there is no logic in what they say. If there is a logic, you can sit down and argue it out and slowly show them that where their fault is. Their understanding of the bhajan is wrong. Hriday mandir mein mat jao, they are singing. Hriday mandir se mat jao, it is. No, I have been singing for 20 years. Precisely, that is how your Hriday mandir is still empty. No God resides in your heart. You can't teach them. They'll say, I have been singing, what do you know? I've been here, the senior most. You can't teach them anything. So they are full of themselves. So those are tamasic. And alpam, their understanding is very narrow. These are narrow-minded people, they cannot be changed. So their knowledge cannot be improved. So their knowledge cannot be improved, so their actions cannot be improved. See, ultimately what we are discussing here, actions. What are the factors that can be improved? One is knowledge, jnanam can be improved. Second is karta can be improved, the doership part of it can be improved, right? So he's now going to come, he's finished the jnanam part of it. The second is karma and then karta. These are the two things that can be improved. The way you perform the action, the process of it, and the attitude, the doership or whatever attitude you have as a doer, that can be improved. These are the two things. So jnanam you understood, I know everything, nobody needs to teach me anything, tamasic. Then somebody says, I know there are many people, there are different ways of singing. I'm okay with that. Let them sing their way. I will sing my way. Rajasic. Third one, as long as they're singing in Shruti, as long as everything is right, let them also sing. If I am singing wrong, please teach me how to sing it right. They have that humility to learn. So their actions will improve. They have no problem. Then we come to the karma. Niyatam sangarahitam aragadveshatah kritam aphala prepsuna karma yat satvikam uchyate. Now he talks about sattvic karmas. What is sattvic karma? Niyatam. Whatever your prescribed duties are there, you do that duty. You're not doing a favor to anybody and don't even expect anything from anyone. It's a part of your duty God has given you. If you are a teacher, you are teaching. There was a story in Maharashtra, there was a saint who was a butcher. And everybody said, you're a butcher. How could you be a godly person? But the Samartha Ramdas sends one of his disciples. My greatest devotee is there, one butcher. He goes to a butcher's shop, all stinking and dirty, meat hanging here and there, leftovers, dogs eating, flies. But he asked the butcher, are you that person that Ramadhan? Yeah, yes, he sent you. What did you send you for? He told me to give some Atma Jnana from you. Wait, I have some duties to do, I will come back. He goes inside, changes his clothes, washes himself, serves his parents, finishes all the duty, then comes back and talks about Brahma Jnana. And he says, you know everything, then why you are doing this silly job? He said, who said it is a silly job? This is all I know. This is my family tradition, this is family work. I have been doing this as a part of my duty towards my parents. This is what feeds us. How does it matter, he says. So that is the attitude of these people. Though they do karma, this is a niyata karma. I'm born, I'm doing like this is what I know, but no ego, no doership, no attachment. So he says, sangarahitam, no attachment. This has to be done this way only. Another way, if anybody does, that's it. Some people are there, no? They'll keep a chair or a flower pot like this. Somebody else comes and moves it even 1 inch this side, that's it. They'll blow their top off, give it back exactly the way it was. No, they're very particular about these things, but these people are not. Asanga. They don't have sangha like this. Ragadvesha. They don't have attachments towards things or hatred towards other things. That's why I say, if I see in their department and say, yes, till yesterday you were handling this, can you handle this from tomorrow? Of course, yes, because there is a need for it. So what if it's not up to my qualifications or whatever? You're okay with it. Why? Because they know no ragadvesha. So these are the actions which are good actions. Aphala prepsuna karma, no desire for the results of the action. Results means it will be successful or fail, it will go wrong, I do not know. I just know how to do the action, I must do the action because it's my duty to do the action. Whether the other side, people respond to it, they appreciate, not appreciate, I fail, I succeed, all that is daiva iti nishchati. All that is decided by God. I do not want to bother about it. So these are the people whose actions are sattvic. These karmas are sattvic. What are the things? One, niyatam. They think this is my duty, so I must do it. There is nothing that I am doing a favor to anybody. Two, sangarahitam. They don't have attachment to the way it's being done and they're not willing to change. Nothing like that. Third, ragadvesha. They don't have likes and dislikes about action. Whatever is to be done, they do it. Afala prepsuna. They don't have attachment to the results of the action. These are the actions which are sattvikam. So you can easily imagine what could be the rajasic action, because now we have got the whole kind of framework on which everything is running. So yattu kamepsuna karma, the one who has desires for the actions, results of the action, sa ahankarena vapunaha, full of ego, I am the doer, because of me it is being done. If I was not there, you think this mission will go on? So these people are those who are full of ego. And kriyate bahulayasam, and they feel great burden in doing the action. The action feels like a burden. That action which is full of attachment and ego, that action which feels like a burden, those are tad rajasam udahritam. Those are rajasic actions. That's why I say, if you are doing with love, without ego, without doership, who cares whether somebody is watching and acknowledging? You do it out of the joy of doing. Your action is sattvic. But the moment you see, did anybody see I did this? Did anybody notice it? Did anybody acknowledge it? No, then we make efforts to make sure that everybody notices it. And if nobody notices it, you feel so terrible about it. All these rajasic people. And for them, action feels like a burden. So now go back and check which all things which feels like a burden to you, because you have likes and dislikes, you have preferences and hatreds. Therefore, this is happening to you. So those are all rajasic actions. Can we improve those actions? Of course, yes. That's why Krishna is teaching all these things. Then the third type, anubandham kshayam himsam anapeksha cha paurusham mohat arabhyate karma yat tat tamasam uchyate. What are tamasic actions? Anubandham, they create bondage. They create bondage at the end. How you are bound? Bound by a habit, bound by a destiny, bound by the outcome. Something will happen. For example, you go and murder somebody. You are bound by police, by law, without thinking, in a rage. Or we have many people, road rage, vandalism. Why it happens? Because your ego is hurt, something happened, you instinctively went and hit somebody. Now, without thinking, now what will happen? You will be bound by this action. You will be put in a jail. Then, shayam, destruction. They cause destruction, those actions. Weapons, wars, political fights, anything that causes destruction. And remember, all actions are at three levels: thought, word and deed. Don't forget that. At thought level, you can cause destruction. At word level, you can cause destruction. At deed level, you can cause destruction. So this is also, remember. Himsa, violence. It leads to violence. You speak a wrong word, it leads to violence or not? It does. In ahimsa, we have heard, even thought can be violent thought. 81 types of ahimsas we can practice. So that is what it says. And anapeksha, they don't think of the results, the outcome. What is going to happen? What are the consequences? They don't have purvatapa. They do it off and then they start worrying. So anapeksha. Then paurusham. Paurusham means rashness or rudeness, ego, haughtiness. And they make rash decisions because they're driven so compulsively by their instincts. They cannot think. They just do it and do it wrong, do it rude, do it rash. And sometimes their paurusham also means overconfidence, superiority. I know I can do it. But when they actually start doing, they can't do it. They don't have the capacity. But some people think too much of themselves. I am so intelligent, I am so brave, I am so capable. But they are not. Wrong understanding, overconfidence. Mohat arabhyate karma. And all their actions start from moha, this kind of delusion. What delusion? That I know everything, I am confident, I am capable. They're not capable. Even if somebody says, don't do this, you will not be able to do it. They take up those things and mess it up halfway. And then leave it for others to mop up the mess. These are the people, overconfident, rude, rash, violent, causing destruction, getting into bondage, and not able to think about the consequences. These are the people who get into such kind of problems. So these are the karma of 3 types which can be improved. Now you think, if ever you have made instinctive decisions, impulsive decisions, ego decisions, and decisions beyond your capacity out of overconfidence or to show off somebody, you are in tamasic karma. That has to be improved. Rajasic karmas are those where you felt it's a burden because it's born out of some desire, but you don't like it, you have preferences for things. These are Rajasic karmas. And Sattvic karmas are those where you have no preferences, liking, no attachment, no ego, and you do it because it's a part of your duty, or part of your job. These are the second karma. Shall we finish the third one also? Then we'll close for today. So that this logically it stays in our head, right? Mukta sango anahamvadi dhrityu utsaha samanvitaha siddha asiddhayo nirvikara karta satvik uchyate. Jnanam we remember. Now karma also we know 3 types of karma. Now karta, the doer. How does the doer feel? Satvik doer is mukta sangaha. He is free from attachment. Same qualities. If I am doing things for the sake of doing, not because I'm attached to it. Some people know, for the children, they just because they've given birth, they've given education, they expect the child to do everything as they want. They don't give any freedom. I've done so much for you, you have to do this for me. They are attached. Whatever they do also, it's out of attachment, not out of duty. A parent should raise the child as a part of its duty. But the parent throws weight and tantrums and demands. Why? Because he thinks, this is my child, I sacrifice so much for you, you have to listen to me. You have to take this course, you have to do these studies, you have to do. Whether child is happy or unhappy, this is not their concern. That is a sangha. But Sattvic people are mukta sangha. Whatever my child thinks likes, let him do, let her do, let her be happy, let him be happy. Of course, if they choose wrong things which will lead to ultimate misery, they will come and stop you also. But they will not do it out of attachment or possessiveness. They do it out of the part of their duty as a good parenting or a good teacher or good whatever. Then anahamvadi, they have no ahankara. Not me, not me. Always they tell anaham. Anaham means naham, I have not done it. If you try to give them credit also, they'll say, no, it's all God who has done. Once 2 people came, the prasadam was very good that day. So I told today's prasadam was so good. First said, I've been cooking this for 20 years, we got this ingredient from there. Today, the right time, right amount of water, salt. This is God's prasadam, no? We made for God, so it has to be good. If he had made for our family, it might not have turned out to be good. But we did with love. Same prasadam, same cooking, 2 different attitudes. One is ahamvadi, other is nahamvadi. So that's why I say naham. Yada naham, tada moksha. Yada aham, bandhanas tada, says Ashtavakra. Wherever you have the aham bhava, you get caught. Wherever you have naham bhava, you are free. If good food comes out, God's grace. Bad comes out, we tried our best. This is all you can do. Leave it at that. So this is the idea. Hanuman, when he went to Lanka and did all this Ashoka Vatika damage and everything and came back, everybody was praising. Hanuman jumped across and came back with the news. Rama said, how did you do it? How was it possible for you? Hanuman says, Rama, it was not I who did it. You did it. You did it through me. That was the attitude of Hanuman. That's why Hanuman became what he became. Others, what I have done for you? I have done this, then give a full list. And then expect acknowledgements. So these people are anahamvadi, they are self-effacing, egoless, humble. Dhriti, but does it mean that they lose enthusiasm for doing whatever they are doing? No. Utsaham, they have utsaham, they have enthusiasm to do. So what, I will not get the credit for it. So what, I will not get acknowledgement. I don't want in the first place. I will still do with great enthusiasm and energy. Not like, just because it's not my job and I will not do it properly. No, they will do it properly. As good as what they would do otherwise also. And dhriti, with determination. They won't give up halfway through if challenges come, difficulties come. These are the sattvic doers. Don't give up. That's what they say. Uttishtata, jagrata and all that. Siddha, siddhayo nirvikara. They are not affected by these vagaries of success and failures. They'll do it because they are supposed to do. They have to do it well to the best of their abilities with all enthusiasm and determination and without any ego. And whatever comes out of it, they're okay with it. They are not demanding anything. These are sattvika kartas, doers who are sattvic. Instrumentation is their way. Remember Krishna says, Nimitta matram bhavasavi sachin. Become an instrument and do what you are doing. These are the people who think, I'm an instrument, how can I take pride in whatever we have achieved? Or how can I go into depression because it couldn't be achieved? Many people in our institutions, they don't have the pride side of the problem, but they have depression side of the problem. Pride they don't take. They always say, Swami, you did it. But some things goes wrong, they get into depression. Oh, I did this. I could not live up to Swami's expectation. Oh, I have done this. I tell them, did you do it on purpose? No, right? Leave it at that. If there is a lesson, let us sit down, analyze, improve from here. Karta can be improved, karma can be improved, jnanam can be improved. Let us improve. That's why I say there are no mistakes in life. There are only lessons. Learn a lesson from a mistake. Don't get into depression. Even depression and negative thinking is also a sort of ego in another form. In fact, dangerous ego. So in our institution, it's very easy for people to give up the good things. Bad things in the sense what went wrong without you are wanting to make it wrong. Should be able to detach yourself from that also. Especially in hospitals, I see one patient, children are there, surgeries happen, some children don't survive. So we are very good at our mortality and morbidity is very, very low, world standards. But still, sometimes, so they get into depression. I tell, don't get into depression. You tried your best. Anyway, that child was rejected by every hospital. Anyway, the child could not have gone to any hospital and paid the money for the operation. Anyway, nobody could have promised him success. We at least tried. We at least tried our best. If it was not destined, leave it at that. If you have made a mistake genuinely out of carelessness and casual, this thing, because of which some accident has happened, please take note of it. Don't get into depression because this should not stop you from doing more good that you can do tomorrow. But go back and improve yourself because karta can be improved, jnana can be improved, karma can be improved. See how practical Bhagavad-gītā is. Can there be a more practical text is I wonder. Second type of is rajasi. Ragi karma phalapprepsuhu lubdho himsatmako ashuchihi. They are ragi, they are attached to whatever they are doing. Only if they like, they want, they will do, otherwise they won't do. Tell them any number of times how important it is, they are not going to do. They don't care. Then karma phalapprepsuhu, because they expect the results in a certain way. Then lubdho, they are very greedy. For their greed, they can destroy anybody. When they want to do something out of greed, no end to their greed. There are plenty of examples in the world outside. Then himsatmaka, they are violent. They can destroy, damage anybody's reputation, name, fame, property, work, life itself for the sake of their greed. These are also type of doers. That is also an action, right? So every action has a doer. These are the rajasi doers. Ashuchihi, they're unclean in their thoughts, words and actions. They use bad words, they think wrong thoughts, they do wrong actions. These are the rajasi people. Harsha shoka anvitaha, they are naturally embraced by harsha and shoka, happiness and sorrow. Naturally, because if something doesn't go their way, they are very angry. They'll ruin the happiness of everybody around. And something goes right their way, they'll be so excited, they'll throw a party. They get excited and depressed very quickly. And rajasa parikirtita, these are the people who are rajasic people. You can think of many examples, I'm sure you would have come across in your family, in your communities, in the country, in the world. Plenty of them who are very rajasic. They do it only because they're greedy. They appear that they are doing it out of love and affection and devotion, but they are very greedy and attached. They can damage you if you don't give them what they want. So don't take favors from such people, If you take help from such people, they will take the leg and arm, as they say. They will not leave you in peace. The politicians are like that. They do a little favor and demand a lot. That is why you should be very careful whom you take from, what you take, who is the doer of the actions. So these mood swings and all are very common. So if you have too many mood swings during your activities, there is rajasi nature inside. You are not steady. Third one, this is the last shloka for today. Ayukta prakrita stabdha shatho naishkritiko alasaha. Who is the one? Ayukta. He is not capable, not suitable, very unsteady. Such a person. Prakritaha, uncultured. He doesn't know how to behave, how to talk, how to speak, how to work. Does messy job, dirty job, improper job, imperfect job. Out of why? Casualness, carelessness, that's all. Or ignorance. Stabdaha, very rude, obstinate, very, stubborn. Even if you tell that you are doing it wrong, do it properly. Who are you to tell me? They don't want to learn and improve. Then, shato. Shato means deceitful. He can cheat, he can lie. He might not have done the work, but he'll tell you it's done. Or he'll tell, it's being done. Not doing at all, but he'll tell. They'll keep postponing. Kabir Das says, Kaal kare so aaj kare so ab, pal mein parlay hoegi, bahui karega kab. When will you do what you have to do tomorrow? Do it today. What you have to do today, do it now. Because you don't know what is happening next moment you are there or not. Finish it as if now. Lazy people, what is there to do today? Let us do it tomorrow. Tomorrow's we'll do day after. Anyway, we are going to live long. Why worry? So this is the lazy people's attitude. They keep postponing. So imagine if you are postponing any activity, not bad activity, good activity, then you know that you are, which category this is? You all are awake, tamasi category. And then, alasaha, lazy people, they won't move from their place. I've seen a lot of people like that. Even students, very lazy. When it comes to what they like, they'll go any amount of work they'll do. What they don't like, they're so lazy, they can't be made to work at all. Vishadi, this is another quality. Vishadi means they keep finding fault with everybody. They don't do anything. If anybody does also, they'll find faults in it. Why are you not doing properly? Do it like this. Why don't you come and do it? No, I will not do it. You do it. They're here to advise everybody. And find fault with everything, negative in everything. Whoever is doing also, they'll find negative. And make them also get depressed. There are people like this. Find in your own class, many people will be there like this. They won't do any good thing. They are lazy, indolent, stubborn, egoistic. But anybody is trying to do it also, they'll try to pull their leg down. Say, you also don't do it. Why? Peer pressure will come. If you study well and you get good marks, teacher will ask me, why, how come your classmate has got good marks? Why you didn't get good marks? How will I tell that I am lazy and I am not interested? So all kinds of, they pull everybody down along with, and they'll find faults with everybody. They can't see positive. They only see negative in everybody and everything. That is the kind of people. They find fault with everybody. They find everything is negative, everything is sad, everything is bad. They're like that, very depressing. Dirgha Sutri. What are Dirgha Sutri? These are procrastinating, like I said. Naishkrita was insulting others and procrastinating, Dirgha Sutri. All these things they will do later and things like that. And these are the tamasi people who do their actions in a tamasic way. Now Krishna says that these are the various things can be improved. Karta, karma and jnana. These can be improved, so please work on your improving these things. Don't postpone things. Don't do it of ego. Don't find faults with others. Do it without attachment. Do it with selfless love. Do it out of the sense of duty. It's a part of your duty, so you should do it, not for any praise. Don't worry about the results. Do it as an offering to God. All these we know. In fact, we all do it. Most of the time we do it. 99% we do it. Why? Because the environment is such, the situations are such. No, all the other things have been taken care of. Daivam have been taken care of. Adhishthana have been taken care of. Karnam have been taken care of. All the other. Karta part you can take care of. Jnanam part you can take care of. And karma part you can take care of. This is in your hands. Krishna can only tell you so much. He can't take you further. But going forward, he tells that apart from this, you need buddhi, discriminating intellect, and dhriti, determination to do it. Ability, nobility, remember? A nobility to understand what to do, what not to do, and ability to go and do it. Willpower should be there. So about that, he is going to talk tomorrow. And let me tell you, both of them have another three types. So this is how Krishna goes on detailing. I'm taking a lot of time because we have only 2 days left. I must finish this, and I thought I can skip a few shlokas, but I found it so important. Did you realize the importance of these shlokas? Did you see how practical they are? Did you see you can go and analyze for yourself where the fault lies? Where the fault lies? Is it in the performing of the action? Is it in the doership in it? Is it the wrong understanding of the action? Is it the situations in which you are right now? Is it the very idea of doing it driven by desires? Where the fault is in you? Why you are not happy at the end of the day? Why you are not delighted by doing what you are doing? Why you feel it is a burden? Ask yourself. Why you are not equanimous at the end of the action? Why there is fluctuations? Why there is restlessness? Why there is unhappiness? Ask yourself where the fault is and improve that. The path is very simple. Go towards the sattvic side. Rise from the tamasic, rajasic and go towards the sattvic side. And your life will improve. Once you improve, society improves because you are the most important member of the society. Society will become better, country will become, world will become better. So karma, because karmanu bandhini manushaloke, we are bound by karmas to this world. That's why despite 18th chapter being the summary, these are 28 shlokas and still to go, few more shlokas, it's all about karma. The right way of doing action. That's why I said Bhagavadgītā's essence is karma. Do your duty correctly with the right attitude, right understanding, right knowledge. And that's why so much of detailing. Tomorrow we will study about buddhi, jnanam, and after that there are some other philosophical aspects of which we have already studied before. And then finally the conclusion which you were already chanting, that how thrilled Sanjaya was to have heard this directly from the mouth of the Lord. Not from some second-hand commentary, not by reading after 5,000 years, not by listening to somebody who doesn't understand things, but from God. That singular privilege of listening to that supreme consciousness was of Arjuna's, and now it is yours. Never forget the opportunity and the blessing that has come our way.